Good morning. I am just getting up and about for today, and I have slept in. It is 9:30. I normally don't sleep in this long, but I was up late last night. But today, for my mini Monday, we're going to talk about macros. So I'm going to go in and get dressed for the day and get me a cup of coffee going, and then we will sit down and talk about it. I'll be back with you in a second. Good morning. I am dressed for the day, and I am wearing my leggings from Simple Addictions, the black ones my sister got me for Christmas, a tank from Walmart that I got on clearance for $4, and my shrug from Family Dollar that I had cut that white front piece off. So total for the outfit that I paid is approximately $13. But my sister paid $10 for the leggings from Simple Addiction, which, is not bad at all. So, I'm going to talk about macros in my sitting ramble today. And then I'm going to do a separate video today for my what I eat in a day. Wanda had asked if I could film what I eat in a day, and I normally just take pictures and add that on the tail end of my videos if I eat. There's some days if there's no pictures, it's because I didn't eat that day. I used it as an intermittent fasting day. I just wasn't hungry, and if I'm not hungry, I'm not going to eat. So I don't force myself to eat. I eat whenever I get hungry, and I don't worry about times, and I don't worry about windows anymore. There was a while where I did that, but now I just want to listen to my body, and I do whatever comes naturally. So today, the What I Eat in a Day video is going to be filmed, and I'm going to talk through it, and I'm going to have it as a totally separate video that I will upload tonight after I eat my last meal of the day. So that way you guys can see what I'm eating, and you can see how I'm making it. Well, not that I'm going to film the making process, but I will film what the plated food looks like and show you the products I use to get there. Because my husband does most of the cooking, to be honest. I'm not. I'm good in the kitchen. I just tend to, that's his domain, and he doesn't like too many people in it. So, and he does not want to be on camera. So he will do the cooking, and I will show you the plated product. But anyway, I'm going to go over, and we're going to get ready for the sitting ramble, and I will get back to you guys in a second. Alrighty, welcome to the sitting ramble. Today's topic of conversation is going to be macros because I know there is a lot of confusion out there. When I'm on the keto pages, it's a daily question, numerous times a day. And then there's so much misinformation, and it just adds to people's confusion, especially newbies. I mean, it can get confusing. So my advice is listen to what I got to say and then go do your own research because maybe even I have it wrong, but I'm going to tell you the way I understand it. But you've got to realize I am not a doctor. I am not a nutritionist. I just did my own studying, and I'm doing what works for me with the breakdown of the macros for myself. So we each have to set our own parameters for our way of eating. Alrighty, so a macro is short for macronutrients, and all food is broken down into 3. Fat, when you're on a keto diet, that's the most important one. Protein, and then carbohydrates, and that's the one that gets us into trouble. Now, what leads to some of the people's confusion is they're not calorically all the same. So when they're looking at the breakdown of their calories versus the percentages of the macros that they're eating, it gets so confusing. But fat has the most calories. It's the most calorie dense. So fat has 9 calories per macro. Then your protein has 4, and your carb has 4. So on a ketogenic diet, you're not supposed to be paying attention to calories because if you're eating the proper ratio of fats to protein, to carbohydrates, our bodies become so satiated that it sort of self-regulates the caloric intake. If your fat is high enough, you're satisfied. You can go hours, hours, sometimes days, and I've had that happen to me, sometimes days without eating. So get those values under control, and the caloric content will slip into place. Okay, so your macros come from fat, protein, and carbs. The majority of the fat and protein is animal based. Not all of it, but the majority of it is animal based. Then anything that grows or comes from the earth, attached to the earth, is your carbohydrates. So your green leafy vegetables, your fruits, the bad grains, so your wheat, your barley, your quinoa, rice, okay, the things we don't want to be ingesting on a ketogenic diet. But then we have good healthy carbs, which are broccoli, asparagus, arugula, you got all the green leafy vegetables, kale and spinach, you got celery, Brussels sprouts, all that good green stuff. So stay away from the starchy veg. Introduce some of that good green healthy veg. And then you got your healthy fruits. Those would be in, like if you had a fruit list, this would be the yellow area. Okay, so you've got your cucumbers, you've got your tomatoes, olives, you've got your avocado. So there's some of those fruits that are very healthy that we want to include in our ketogenic diet. So when people say no fruits, first you've got to define what is a fruit. And then you've got to pick what are the best ones. Because we don't eat peaches, and we don't eat the really sugary bananas, grapes. Those are high dense sugar fruits. We want to eat the low fruits. So cucumbers, zucchini, tomatoes, olives, artichokes, avocado. So those are some of the healthy fruits that people don't even think of as fruits. I think we automatically just think of that kind of stuff as a vegetable, even though they're not. Okay, so when you're deciding what your macros are going to be, the typical ketogenic diet is 5% carbohydrates, 20% protein, 75% fats. Calorically, you want, on average, people eat a 2,000 calorie a day diet. And when you break those macros down from a 2,000 calorie a day diet, you end up eating 167 grams of fat. Then you end up eating 100 grams of protein and 25 grams of carbohydrate. So if you increase your calorie count, say you could eat up to 10,000 calories a day and keep that percentage the same. So that's why we say you got to pay attention still to calories in versus calories out. And other people will argue with you that you don't, but you do, because that still matters. Calories in still matters. We still have to be able to use up everything that we're eating, and then still be able to burn what's on our body. So there are some people out there who have their ketogenic diet is low carb, moderate fat, and high protein. And people will argue with them all the time. But if you're coming at it from a fat loss perspective, you have got enough fat on your body to sustain you. You do not need to be adding extra fat from throwing in bulletproof coffee. Don't get me wrong, I have it. I do have it. And I enjoy it very much. But it's as a meal replacement, not in addition to my other fat sources. I'm not going to have a fatty ribeye steak with a cup of bulletproof coffee. So we've got to be careful when we're wanting to lose weight to add those additional fats, because we want our body to turn to our fat stores. We want it eaten off our tushies and our bellies and our arms. And it's not going to do that, because it's going to eat up the fat that you're putting in your bloodstream first. So, and if that's all it needs, you can actually start gaining weight on a ketogenic diet if you're not paying attention to calories in versus calories out. Okay, so I hope I'm explaining it well enough. Main sources of carbohydrates that you should be ingesting in a day are from green leafy vegetables, not cakes, candies, grains. Those, if you're doing a ketogenic diet, should not be part of it. But there's people out there that talk about a carb-free ketogenic diet. And there's people out there that say carbs are not necessary at all. In my opinion, I disagree with that. Carbs are necessary. When your sources of protein, cows, whatever you're choosing to eat your protein from, when they're out there eating the grass, they're eating that grass for their own health benefits, and not to sustain human beings. They're not there eating saying, well, I got to eat enough grass that when I get slaughtered, there's micronutrients there for the human beings to eat. They're eating it for their own function so that they grow proper muscle mass and bone structure, and they're feeding their brains. So they're using up those vitamins and minerals. So they're using up the micronutrients that some people think that they're going to be getting from eating the meat. Now, I'm not going to say there ain't trace amounts in there. There is. But not to the degree that vegetables and low-cal fruits are going to give you. So I personally believe you still need healthy carbohydrates. But make sure you're picking healthy carbohydrates. You get 5% or 20 net or 25 net or 20 total, whatever you have chosen for yourself. Make sure those carbs are healthy carbs and they're working for you. They are beneficial to the body. And this is where calories in versus calories out, to me, does not make a healthy person. So you can have somebody eating a 2,000 calorie diet full of just cakes and candies. Or you could have somebody over here eating a 2,000 calorie diet full of healthy proteins and healthy fats and a lot of green leafy vegetables. And who's going to be healthier? There's same amount of caloric value, but who's going to be healthier? So you have to make sure the carbs you are eating are healthy carbs and going to work for you, because you've got to be able to get all your vitamins and minerals in. So that's the way I understand it, and I hopefully am explaining it to you well. If you have any more questions, please put them in the comments below, and that way I can address them better than what I can do in this short video. And I will let you guys go, and I will talk at you later. Blessings.